Hey everyone, it's Jonathan and welcome to a bonus episode of Christmas in July. This is an episode I released in 2022, though half of it was recorded in 2018. Sarah and I are talking about one of her favorite Christmas specials, the 1982 animated special The Snowman, as well as its 2012 sequel, The Snowman and the Snowdog. I'm re-releasing this episode because earlier this year the original video was blocked worldwide on YouTube, and my channel was struck by Random House because I used a few short clips in the podcast. This has been up for 4 years now, so this was definitely malicious on their part and absolutely ridiculous, but I have no money so I can't fight it, so instead I'm re-releasing this podcast again, this time as bare bones as possible with no clips, no music from the special, no nothing, so it can clear the YouTube bots. However, I'm also making an audio version that will use all the music I want because it will be a cold day in heck before I let Random House stop me. In fact, I'm probably going to put even more music in the audio version just to spite them. So before we get into the episode, as a quick disclaimer, like I said, the first half of this was recorded in the early days of my YouTube channel, so the audio is not amazing. I'll do my best to clean it up with the tools available now that I didn't have then, but it still won't be perfect. The first half will be covering 1982's The Snowman, one of Sarah's all-time favorites, and apparently the origin of the song Walking in the Air. That song was like a staple of Christmas albums in our house. I feel like multiple people covered it, though the one I'm specifically thinking of was on a Celtic Woman album, and I had no idea it originally came from this special. And then in the second half of the episode, I think we recorded it 4 years later, and in between then and when we recorded the original episode, I had completely switched over to podcasting. The original episode in 2018 was recorded as a short video review, so by 2022 I had been podcasting almost 3 years, and we decided to turn that original video into a podcast and review the lesser-known sequel from 2012 as well. Now, before we get into the episode, for audio listeners, let's finish out the rest of Walking in the Air, and for the unfortunate viewers who only have the sad, clipless, copyright-free audio version, let's probably just get into the podcast because it'll be a lot more fun than whatever generic song I was forced to put in here. Hey everyone, welcome back to Christmas in July. Today we're going to be talking about a 1982 animated cartoon, short, special. It's called The Snowman, and we're doing this one because this is a favorite of Sarah's, and when I suggested we do this one, she really liked that idea. So let's have Sarah tell you about it and why she likes it so much.
If all you knew was the basic plotline of this cartoon, you wouldn't watch it unless you were emo or something. This cartoon is actually, it's a piece of art, but not like some art that we have watched. The Czechoslovakian Alice is coming to mind anyway. It's based off of a book, which was written in 1978, and the person who wrote it was born in 1934. When you see some of the style choices of this boy's childhood, it really kind of evokes, you're thinking, is it 40s, is it 50s? And I'm guessing, if you go off of the age, early 1940s, definitely like war era, because he looks like he's maybe 9 or 10. And it's so different. It has 2 introductions, or you can watch one that has no introduction, which don't. Watch one that has an introduction, and watch the one that has the original introduction. There's one besides the original with David Bowie. If all you care about is seeing a cute British guy introduce a cartoon, check it out. But there's something really special about the original introduction. I don't know if you're a big poetic sap like me, just the way he describes this day that he built the snowman and reflecting on his childhood, it's magical to me. One of my favorite parts is the introduction, so don't skip that 16 seconds or whatever it is. The book is basically a series of little pictures, no words, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And with this one, the only words you have are in the introduction and in the song that's kind of in the middle of the cartoon. The song is also really special, but we can get to that. Honestly, I can't tell you everything about this cartoon because it would spoil it. You just...
Basically, I think all you really need to know is that it's about a little boy who builds a snowman, and they have a magical adventure.
Yes.
But it's deeper than that.
It is. One of the main things that's so special about this is that the cartoon mirrors the artistry of the book, and it was done, you said, in pencil crayon?
Yeah.
It's not like a normal cartoon. The artistry is beautiful, and it's just so different and striking, and the music really tells the story along with the art in a great way. It's basically all classical type music, but it all fits the emotion or the activity that's happening at the time. And of course, I love the old era, so maybe that's part of it, just the charm that you catch throughout the film and just the way Christmas is portrayed. In this series, I might be the Scrooge out of the two of us. I'm not a big Santa fan.
Well, I'm not either.
And this one involves Santa, so you would think that I would be like, I don't know, Santa, this is another Christmas.
Santa can be charming if done right.
The Santa in this is different, and there's almost a simple charm about this Christmas that they're having.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an only child, and the friendship that he has with this snowman is just really interesting, and I just can't do it full. I can't give it all away. You just have to watch it. And I like the style choices, I like the plot, and I like how it ends, but I can't tell you how it ends. If you want a cartoon to make you happy and have all the feels and be magical and have a surprise ending that will actually make you feel something. I don't know if it'll be a good something, just because for me, I like the ending of it, but just watch it. You just have to watch it. If you haven't, you're missing a gem. One note, if you care about British bare bottoms, the little boy does get changed at the beginning and you get a quick flash. But, it's a little boy, so other than that, don't expect anything risque in this cartoon. It is a children's cartoon, and it's a great watch for adults, just as much, if not more, than for children, I would say. Maybe I'm exaggerating on that, because I like it so much. And honestly, I grew up with it, so that's probably part of my thinking as well.
I had never seen this cartoon before Sarah introduced it to me, so I didn't really know what to expect out of it, and it turned out I actually really liked it more than I thought I was going to. It's very different than most animated Christmas specials that you would see. They put a lot more focus on the art and the music than the other ways that other Christmas specials are made. Usually it's a focus on
schmaltz.
Yeah. People being sappy, giving presents, too much focus on Santa, and the fact that Santa was only kind of like a cameo made it so that I didn't mind the Santa inclusion. Normally, I kind of get annoyed by Santa in every Christmas thing.
He's different in this one, yeah.
And I guess the music is probably one of the highlights for me anyway, because... Just the nature artistry, mm-hmm. The wild birds and animals. And the way they use the crayon drawings, it gives it more of a sketchy feeling, especially when they're outside, and especially like when something's moving fast, like the horse running I thought was so well animated because of the medium that they were using to draw it. It gave it a look very different than pretty much anything. I've never seen a cartoon that looked like it was drawn with crayons before, and they did it really well.
Yeah, it's beautiful artistry, not childish, little...
Yeah, when you think of a crayon drawing, you usually think of something a kid drew. This is not that. This is like an adult who knew what they were doing and just happened to be using crayons.
Now, I don't know if I was touched by this cartoon as a child, but I'm definitely touched by it now. It's just so great. This is one that I can revisit, I think probably on an annual basis, and still enjoy it. And for me, it's kind of become a thing. Like, okay, it's winter. Need to watch the snowman here.
One thing that I noticed was that this short was the origin of one of my favorite... I never really thought of it as a specifically Christmas song, but it has turned up on a bunch of Christmas albums.
It's a winter song, and you can see if it's a British story where these people probably grew up with the song and were charmed by it. It's a very charming song.
Mm-hmm. I'd heard this song multiple times on different albums, like Celtic Woman did a cover of it, and that's probably one of, if not my favorite version of the song. But I had no idea that it had come from an animated short, and I thought that was cool that this is where it came from.
Yeah.
And I really liked the version they put on here. It was very similar to what Celtic Woman had done with it, and it sounds great. I really liked it.
It's called We're Walking in the Air, and that is the one that actually puts some words in the middle of it, of this cartoon. There is a boy that I think became famous for singing it, but don't get confused. There was a specific boy that I think maybe wasn't as well known who actually sang this. And I don't remember their names, but he rolls his arms. He rolls his arms. He rolls his R's and basically sounds like a very charming British choir boy singing this gorgeous song in the middle of this artistic, charming cartoon. Cartoon doesn't even seem like the right word. Like I say, it's a piece of art. It's
an animated short. Cartoon makes it sound like it's cheaper than it is.
Not that we don't like cartoons, but
yes.
Okay.
So...
I don't know. There's only so many details I want to give away. Like, I could talk more about what happened, but...
We could give a spoiler warning. If you want to talk about the end, we could say spoiler for the end, and then if you really want to get into how the end goes.
Well, okay. So, he wakes up in the morning on a beautiful, snowy day. He's an adorable, rosy-cheeked redhead. And he goes out and, throughout the course of this day, built a snowman. At midnight that night, he looks out and the snowman comes to life and they shake hands and become friends. And he gives him a tour of the house. And they're messing around with the parents' stuff and playing in his room and just all over. And there's a beautifully decorated cake in the kitchen that has a little figurine that looks just like him. And different parts of the story are when the snowman gets too hot and how the little boy helps him to cool down again. They go outside and they take a ride on, I'm assuming his father's motorcycle, through the woods. And then the snowman's legs get too hot. So they go into this shed that has this big deep freezer. And he climbs in there and he puts a bag of peas on his head, and then he picks up another box that has this mountain scene with trees on it, and it's like he's remembering or he's getting an idea. So he gets out of the freezer, takes the boy's hand, and they start running, and they take off flying in the air. And it shows one or more other snowmen watching this, and really what happens is all of these snowmen from around the world start making their way to the North Pole. But mostly you see the boy and the snowman flying over all of this scenery with the song We're Walking in the Air playing. And I don't know, this might even be giving me chills. I just love it. I love it so much. And so And then you have different people spotting them as they're flying over, and there's a whale that comes up from, the mighty monster from the deep that's mentioned in the song. So if you just listen to the song, you wouldn't know what the mighty monster was. And then they land in the North Pole. The little boy doesn't know what's going on. You have this sort of eerie, suspenseful music as they're making their way through the woods. And then it turns to very happy, celebratory, triumphant, joyful music as they come into this clearing, and there's this great big gathering of snowmen, and sort of in the center of them is Santa Claus. Now what happens next? Does he get the present first, or do they have the party first? I feel like maybe they have the party first.
I think so.
So
for sure.
They're having... you don't know what they're drinking. They're drinking something. They're having a party. They're dancing. They looked like they had little cupcakes with little candied cherries on top, and just having an absolutely fabulous time. You have one that I always thought he was from Australia, and it dawned on me, wait, he's probably from America. He looks like he has the holsters and the hat. And there's a Scottish one, with the little hat and the kilt and all these different fun details to try and take in as you're watching it. And Santa is a little highly rosy man wearing a frilly apron. He helps Mrs. Claus. They're a team. Mrs. Claus is not present. Maybe that's why he's wearing the frilly apron. She got a cold and he had to do the dishes and everything. I have no idea. Anyway, he's a very benign individual. He takes them in where there are at least a couple of reindeer who kind of have beady eyes, and you're not sure that their horns are antlers.
They look sort of like a cross between reindeer antlers and moose antlers.
I never picked up on it, but he has fun meeting the reindeer, and you don't have to keep the part with the beady eyes or anything if you don't want to. It's just to kind of have a look. Anyway, Santa in his sleigh, this is so perfectly, I think, British. I mean, maybe a British person's going to come along and say you have it all wrong. But at least for that era, I think, and for the UK, there tends to be more simplicity. Santa gives him one present, and it's a blue scarf with little snowmen all over it. I mean, it's not exactly American Christmas. And he's happy, and it's great. And then they fly home and circle round, and, the boy points out that there's my house. And he goes to bed, and the next day wakes up, and he's all eager to go see the snowman. And he runs outside, and the snowman is a pitiful melted pile with, his little hat and whatever sticking up on this pile. And the little boy is he's sad, but he feels in his pocket, and he pulls out this scarf, and he's holding it like, wow, this did actually happen. And it sort of pans away from them with this melancholy version of We're Walking in the Air playing, and that's the end. And I love it. I don't know. I mean, it's really sad on the one hand, but on the other hand, who ends a cartoon like that? It's just magical. That this adventure happened, but yet, this was inevitable. The snowman was going to melt. The magic was not going to last. He's not going to store the body in the freezer till summer. I guess I never thought of that. That could be an out. But that's not what happened. And I don't know. Why do I like that? I
don't really know, but I like the end too.
It's different.
I feel like if they had come up with an out to get the snowman to last all year, it would have felt too sappy, and this felt more real.
I don't know, The Fox and the Hound or something, which if I watched now, I only watched it as a child. If I watched that now, I'd probably be a mess. It's this happened, it was special, it ended, but it did happen. And I don't know. Maybe it speaks to the pain of childhood. I don't know. I don't know why I like that, but maybe it is because it isn't sappy, and it is kind of like Alice, where you have the little hint sometimes, like, was it a dream? No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay. Snowman and the Snowdog. This one isn't going to be like a full podcast, but we already watched the other one, and this is going to be like the second half of that, because I knew about this film, and I knew you hadn't seen it, and you were opposed to the idea of following up the original.
Once we started watching it, I feel like maybe my sister had it up and was watching it, and I saw the tiniest bit of it and probably didn't approve then. But I actually liked this way more than I thought I was going to.
I could tell when we were watching it because you were silent. I figured if you didn't like it, you would have been complaining the whole time.
Oh boy, that makes me think we've been doing this long enough for there to be a pattern. Oh boy.
So this one is set in a different time period than the other one. The other one was like 1940s. This one I think was modern day, and if it wasn't modern day, it's got to be like 80s or 90s.
Yeah, very close to where we are now.
And I'm not sure what.
So this says, is it 2012?
Yeah, this was made in 2012. But as far as the time period it's set, I'm going to guess maybe it's supposed to be contemporary.
It looked it. It sounded it.
And I guess I was expecting it to be about, like, the original boy's son or maybe grandson. But I think this is just a completely different boy, because at the very beginning, I think he's moving into the old house that the original boy lived in.
When you read the plot line for this, it's like, well, this stinks. And then when you start watching it, I don't know, it's actually pretty good. It's like the old house, but the town has built up around it. So yes, you still have the backyard, but he's not surrounded by the countryside anymore.
Okay. It's been a while since I watched the original, so I'm sure you're going to pick up more things.
That's one of the big differences. Well, I think I remember from reading the synopsis, but when you start watching it, it's like, yes, the town is built up around it. Yes, you have the same backyard, but there's more of a city focus in this one. So one of the things that caught my interest more was that they basically kept the same animation style.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at that, because a lot of times if like they do I guess I was thinking this is going to be like a cheap sequel. So I was thinking that it was going to be like other cheap sequels where they try and do it as cheaply as possible and as modernly as possible. And I was not expecting like crayon drawings.
It's like an honorable homage to the first one.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the art.
Because they really tie into the old theme. If you've watched the first one, they really play off of the themes, but it's still different.
And this one is, the drama is built around this boy, his dog. Like at the very beginning when they're moving in, he has this dog that you can tell is very old. And then in the next scene, it's his mother and him standing over a grave. So this old dog has died. Okay,
there are a lot of pitiful elements to this, because either his parents are divorced or his dad is dead or something unpleasant. And then if you've had an elderly pet, you can tell the signs of, okay, yes, this dog is sweet, but on its way out, and that time with your pet stinks. So yeah, and then it's the future, so the house is no longer in the country, and he's like, okay, this is how life goes. So yeah, they're just hitting you with all of these realities within 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's really fast. But then the boy is writing a letter to Santa and asking for a dog, and you don't really see any words. He just draws a picture of a dog. Like, this whole thing is there's no dialogue like the original.
This could have been so pitiful, like, oh, we're having a hard time and my dog just died. But they kept it lighter.
Yeah.
They didn't make him, wallow in misery over his...
There was no tragic music as the boy sobbed over the grave.
If it was my story, they would have needed to add a little more tragedy into this. But he was a brave boy, and he was ready to move forward in life. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's writing this letter to Santa asking for a dog, and then he's going to go, I guess, mail it, because he's leaving his room, and he trips over a floorboard, which flips up.
Well, I think his mother had called him, too.
Oh, maybe. Well, there's no dialogue, so it's not
yeah, they kept her on mute as she... But, yeah, makes the discovery.
He finds all of the old belongings of the original boy, including all of the pieces that the snowman was wearing, including a shriveled old orange that used to be the old snowman's nose.
And a picture. This was, talking about complaining, this was a part where I did sort of complain, because they had a color photograph of the snowman and the boy. And yes, that's possible, but the original snowman looks like it's set in, like, the 1940s, 50s-ish.
I was thinking 40s, because wasn't there like a World War II element?
I'm guessing that it would have been like post-war, but it could still be 40s. It just had that flavor.
Yeah.
So I felt like it should be a black and white photo, but that's a small complaint, I guess.
But yeah, this discovery inspires him to build a snowman, and he builds himself a little snow dog as well. Yes,
and put the shriveled orange for the... nose, which worked better on the dog than the snowman.
Yes.
And then you have, all these little pointers to the original, because you have the middle of the night, the magical transformation, and they started on their adventures, and it includes, but this time it's the dog that's, the puppy that's starting to melt and has to go outside and get chilled again, and there isn't as much fooling around in the house, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it would be bad if they mirrored everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to the shed, you see the motorcycle, which is recognizable, but I also think that the snow globe was...
I was thinking that that was probably supposed to be a bunch of stuff left behind.
Right. The snow globe, I don't know if they did it in the exact same style, but there was a snow globe in the original.
Okay.
But instead, he hauls out a sled instead of the motorcycle, and off they go on their... adventure together.
And you also have a snowman flight scene.
Yes, with a decidedly modern song, which is not going to replace Walking in the Air in My Heart. Like, it would have been probably cheesy if they had reused Walking in the Air, but this song cannot replace that in my heart.
Yeah. I did like the song, though. It said that it's Light the Night by former Razorlight drummer Andy Burroughs, who I have no idea who that is, or I've never heard of Razorlight, so...
It gave me a little bit of a bummer feeling.
I liked the scene.
I can see how it fit with what they were trying to do, but definitely a modern song for the more modern setting.
Mm-hmm. And I really liked the scene of the snowman flying through the air. I thought they did a really great job with that. It was very epic.
They brought in a vintage airplane element. It's like, how many lives has this snowman had that we don't know? Because the snowman's flying the airplane, but it's like, don't ask too many questions. This is a magical snowman.
Yeah, there's a lot of things Christmas you can't really ask a lot of questions about.
Yeah. So they go to the North Pole, and I feel like in the first one, they include snowmen, snowwomen from different parts of the world, and this time I feel like they tried to include even more parts of the world.
There was a lot, including a cowgirl.
Instead of just, like the Japanese one serving up food.
There was some Chinese ones too with those cone hats.
Right, and their little dragon balloon.
Oh yeah, I liked that balloon.
And this time, instead of it being like a fun party, it's more like a resort.
I didn't really know what they were going for, and then it turned into like a ski competition, which was kind of weird. There was also a penguin, and I'm guessing, I'm going to say that penguin was on vacation, because penguins do not live at the North Pole.
See, now you're thinking,
Penguins live at the South
What
Pole.
is that penguin doing on skis at the magical snowman party? Penguins don't live there with Santa. And Santa was different. I feel like they made him taller, maybe slightly thinner, and they gave him the classic suit instead of being in his cute little apron.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Santa had an apron.
Yeah, he was different in the first one, but this one would be even more recognizable to, like, you know it's Santa, but they made him even more recognizable as Santa.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they have this skiing competition, and the penguin is like super competitive and he wants to win.
I think he might have been a cheater. I don't know. But the boy and the dog win, and I don't know if it was just supposed to be as a prize or just as I feel like it was more like just his Christmas present from Santa.
That's what I interpreted it as.
So you have that connection as well of getting the present from Santa, and then it's time to go home, and a snowman with an asparagus mustache takes over the plane, and they part ways. So it's the three of them going back to the house, and then of course they're all buddies now, and the dog wants to go inside, but he's pointing out, the fire or whatever that's. So he brings him back to the snowman, opens the present, turns out to be a dog collar, puts it on the little dog, and he becomes a real dog. Don't, spoiler alert. And so they have this happy parting between themselves and the snowman, and the dog gets to go inside. And there's this moment where I think he's wondering in the morning whether the dog was even real or anything. And he goes and finds him downstairs, and they go out, and the snowman is dead again. All over again. This little pile. And they leave it there. And if you didn't have the context of the first snowman, this would just be a bad place to end. And it still kind of is, but if you know what they were going for, sort of, it kind of works. I feel like he almost needed to pick up the pieces and put them back in the box for the next kid.
Maybe he did that after he was done mourning.
And well, actually it was almost like honorary kneeling. Instead of like the sadness of the first boy, it was almost like they were paying their respects at a little graveside, the both of them. It had a different feeling than the first one. Which, I'm not complaining about the first one. You know that I actually liked the pitiful ending on the first one.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't hate this, which I kind of expected to. I was like, this better not ruin the first one or something like that, You don't want it to be tainted, but it was kind of a sweet homage to the first one. I don't know. And you want to talk about John Coates?
Yeah, it ended with a tribute to the producer of the short, who is also the producer of the original, and apparently the producer of one of Sarah's favorite cartoons.
Yes, one of the best things ever made in film. The World of Beatrix Potter and Friends.
And he also produced a movie that I grew up with, a version of The Wind in the Willows from, I believe, 93. I watched that all the time as a kid. And I had no idea that this one person had done all of these different things.
He's probably my kind of person. But yeah, he must have passed close to the time that this was wrapping up or something.
Yeah.
So, I didn't hate it. I'd probably even watch it again. And yeah, not a bad sequel. They actually took the time to make it visually appealing. Only this time you do have like the Ferris wheel in London, Big Ben. Yeah, you have Lighthouse, Ocean. They included different animals. I know they had geese. There might have been geese in the first one, but I don't know. And this was more detailed, and yeah, the animals were it was just different.
There was a fox at the beginning.
Okay, well, there was a fox in the first one, too. I liked the sheep. The sheep were cute.
Yeah.
So, yes, still very British. Any more thoughts?
I think that's about all I've got. I mainly wanted to do this one just because I was curious as to what you would think of it.
Well, there you go.
Okay, well, until next time.
All right, until the next British thing. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for Christmas in July. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. All of our links will be in the description below. If you'd like more podcasts like this one, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you'd like to support this show, check out Johncast Media on Patreon for everything here, plus bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.